They roared through the 60s and 70s, took over drag strips, highways, and hearts. But somehow, the world moved on. These 5 muscle legends once ruled the roads, and if you're over 50, you probably remember them better than your first love. Buick GSX, Super Bee, the forgotten Javelin AMX. They're not just cars, they're a part of your story. Let's bring them back for one last ride. 1970 Oldsmobile 442 W30. The Gentleman's Street Brawler. Category details: manufacturer Oldsmobile, GM. Year introduced 1970. Model 442 W30. Platform A-body, Cutlass, Slylark, Chevelle Cousin. Body styles available: Sport Coupe, Holiday Coupe, Convertible. Total 1970 442 production, 19,330 units. Estimated W30 production, 3,100 units. Base price, $3,300 to $3,700 depending on trim. The 442 started as an option code in 1964. 4-barrel, 4-speed, dual exhaust. But by 1970, it was a standalone model and one of GM's baddest factory street cars, especially in its ultimate W30 trim. At the heart of the W30 was the mighty 455 cubic inch Rocket V8, one of the biggest and brawniest engines of the era, delivering monstrous torque with surprising smoothness. 455 W30 specification detail: displacement 455 cu ins, induction specially tuned quadrajet 4-barrel carb heads, high-flow D-code F cylinder heads, camshaft performance mechanical cam, hotter grind. Pistons forged, higher compression. Intake system functional cold air fiberglass hood scoops, dual, with underhood plenum. Compression ratio 10.5 to 1. Factory rated horsepower 370 horsepower at 5,300 RPM. Factory rated torque 500 pound-feet out remote at 3,600 RPM. Real output estimated 400 to 420 horsepower, real-world dyno. The 455 Rocket produced one of the highest torque numbers of any GM muscle car, second only to the Buick GSX Stage 1. The W30 was a serious street contender, often underestimated because of Oldsmobile's luxury reputation. Metric figure 0 to 60 miles per hour, 5.5 to 5.8 seconds. Quarter mile 13.9 to 14.2 seconds at strengthy 100 to 103 miles per hour. Top speed 130 miles per hour. Curb weight 3,800 pounds per hour. With its low-end grunt, the W30 was as quick or quicker than many big-block Chevelles and GTOs, and more refined too. Transmission options: Muncie M21 Rock Crusher 4-speed manual, Turbo Hydromatic 400 3-speed automatic. Axle options: 12-bolt rear with 3.42, 3.73, or 4.33 gears. Anti-spin limited slip Posey was standard on the W30. W30 specific upgrades: red plastic inner fender liners, iconic. Lightweight aluminum intake manifold. Special carb tuning, dual snorkel fiberglass hood scoops with functional cold air induction. Heavy-duty radiator, cooling and fuel systems. High lift cam and unique distributor curve. These changes made the W30 much more than just a sticker package. The best-looking GMA body? Many enthusiasts still argue that the 1974 Viking Blue and Sebring Yellow, perfect for the era. Muscle with a gentleman's touch. Unlike stripped-down drag cars, the 442 W30 could be ordered with almost every luxury option Oldsmobile offered. Strato bucket seats with optional Hurst dual-gate his/her shifter. Full rally gauge cluster with 8,000 RPM tech, optional wood grain accents, and deluxe steering wheel. Power windows, tilt column, AM/FM stereo, air conditioning, power brakes, and steering, often standard on W30s. The 442 was one of the few muscle cars that could drag race Friday night and take your boss to lunch on Monday. Olds versus corporate GM. In 1970, GM finally lifted its 400 cu-inch limit on intermediate cars. Oldsmobile wasted no time by dropping its largest, most robust big block into its halo car. The W30 wasn't just for show. Many owners drag race them in NHRA stock and super stock classes, with the W30 package homologated for real racing use. Thanks to their bulletproof drivetrain and good weight distribution, these cars performed extremely well on the street and strip. One of the rarest big GM muscle cars. Why don't you see many today? W30s were expensive. A well-optioned 442 W30 could top $4,200, pushing it near Corvette money. Insurance premiums were crushing muscle cars by 1970-1971. Many were raced and wrecked. Rust killed countless survivors. Of the 3,100 W30s built, only a fraction were convertibles, and fewer still survive with matching numbers and paperwork. Condition, estimated value. Solid driver, non-matching numbers, to $70,000 to $90,000. Matching numbers, 4-speed, $120,000 to $150,000. Convertible W30, very rare, $250,000. Concours restored, docks, rare options, $300,000 plus, auction level. The 442 W30 is a blue-chip GM collectible, just behind LS6 Chevelles and Hemi Mopars, but often underrated and undervalued. The 442 didn't make as many blockbuster movie appearances as the Mustang or Charger, but it's a cult favorite among enthusiasts. Revered at Olds Nationals and muscle car meets. Appears in video games like Forza Horizon and Gran Turismo. Featured in countless hot rod, Hemmings, and muscle car review articles. Jay Leno has praised the W30 as one of the best sleepers ever built. Its legacy is cemented as Oldsmobile's greatest muscle car achievement. The gentleman's dragstrip hero. The 1970 Oldsmobile 442 W30 was the perfect blend of refinement and raw power. It didn't need loud stripes or outrageous spoilers to make its point. The 455 rocket under the hood did the talking. If the Chevelle SS was a brawler and the GTO was a street racer, the 442 W30 was the hitman in a suit. Silent, classy, and absolutely lethal. 1969 Ford Torino GT Cobra Jet. The working man's street rocket category. Manufacturer, Ford Motor Company. Model, Torino GT, Cobra Jet option. Year introduced, 1969. Platform, Ford Intermediate, Fairlane, Torino. Body styles available, two-door sports roof, hardtop, convertible. Total Torino GT production, Tilba 129,000 plus units, all engines. Estimated Cobra Jet 428 production, Tuba 3,500 to 4,000 units, all trims. Base price, Tuba 3,000 to 3,500 depending on options. The Torino GT sat in the middle of Ford's lineup, between the Fairlane 500 and the Mustang. With the Cobra Jet option, it transformed from an intermediate family coupe into a quarter-mile menace. 428 Cobra Jet, underrated powerhouse. The heart of this car was the mighty 428 Cobra Jet V8, a brute born from the same FE block that powered the Shelby GT500 and other Ford big block legends. Specification details, engine code Q code Cobra Jet, forward R code Ram Air version. Displacement 428 Carboneers 7.0 liter. Carburation Holley 735 CFM 4-barrel. Compression ratio 10.6 to 1. Advertised horsepower 335 horsepower at 5,200 RPM. Advertised torque 440 pound-foot at 3,400 RPM. Actual output estimated 400 plus horsepower, 450 plus pound-foot. Like the Mustang Mach-1 CJ, the Torino's Cobra Jet was intentionally underrated for insurance reasons. It could outrun many cars rated far higher on paper. The Torino GT 428 CJ was a true street brawler, big, heavy, but surprisingly fast with the right gearing. Performance metric. Figure to 60 miles per hour. Tube of 5.8 to 6.3 seconds. Quarter mile, 13.9 to 14.2 seconds at 100 to 103 miles per hour. Top speed, tube of 125 miles per hour. Curb weight, 3,700 pounds. Stage to Ortinity people friends to 200 pounds. Add a drag pack with oil cooler and 3.91 or 4.30 gears, and you had a street-legal drag strip warrior. Transmission options, 4-speed top-loader manual, close or wide ratio, C6 Cruise-O-Matic, 3-speed automatic, very tough, 3.25 or 3.50 traction lock limited slip. Optional 3.91 or 4.30 with external engine oil cooler, very rare. With the drag pack, the Torino could handle repeated high RPM launches without losing oil pressure, a must-have for weekend warriors. Understated but aggressive, the 1969 Torino GT's design was updated to be longer and sleeker than the earlier Fairlanes. Key exterior features: sports roof fastback body, low drag and slick lines. Optional Ram Air shaker hood scoop, R-code, subtle Cobra Jet badging, only insiders knew what it meant. Dual racing mirrors, racing stripes and rear GT emblems. Magnum 500 or styled steel wheels with big polyglass. This was a driver's car, all about that big motor, not leather and plush carpets. Born for the strip, built for the street. In the late 1960s, Ford needed a legitimate contender to keep up with big block Chevelles, GTOs and Mopar 440s. The Cobra Jet 428 was originally a secret project by Ford drag racers and engineers who wanted to beat the competition using factory parts. They beefed up the 428 Police Interceptor, added big port heads, larger camshaft, and cold air induction. The engine debuted in early 1968, but 1969 was the first year it was widely available in the Torino GT. The Torino Cobra Jet also made waves in NASCAR, where the Torino Talladega aerodynamic variant dominated superspeedways, but the street version was all about straight-line drag racing. The Torino GT Cobra Jet was built in decent numbers, but many were raced hard and wrecked. Rust killed thousands Midwest and East Coast. Fewer survive with numbers-matching engines and drag pack options. It's far rarer today than a Mustang Mach-1 or Chevelle SS. Condition estimated value US dollars. Driver quality 428 CJ automatic, $50,000 to $70,000. This is the 428 CJ 4-speed Ram Air drag pack, $80,000 to $120,000 plus. Fully restored, numbers matching sports roof, $120,000 to $160,000 plus. Torino Talladega or King Cobra, super rare, $200,000 plus. Torino GT Cobra Jets have quietly become hot collector pieces, especially for Ford fans who want something different than a Mustang. The Torino GT never became a Hollywood icon like the Mustang or Charger, but it's earned cult respect. Featured in Gran Torino, Movie Car was in 1972, but sparked interest. Seen in Fast and Furious video games and die-cast collections. Appreciated by drag racing historians for its legitimate NHRA and IHRA history. Common star at Ford Nationals, Carlisle, and vintage drag events. The Blue Oval Underdog. The 1969 Ford Torino GT Cobra Jet is one of the purest expressions of Ford's no-nonsense muscle car philosophy. Big power, low profile, factory drag pack, and no apologies. It's the kind of car you pull up in at the burger stand, and the other guy in the Roadrunner knows he's in for a fight. If you want a big-blocked Ford that's not another Mustang, the Torino GT Cobra Jet is your sleeper hit.
1970. Chrysler 300 Hurst, the gentleman's muscle yacht. In the late 1960s, the muscle car craze was raging. Roadrunners, Super Bs, Chargers, and Cudas were burning up the streets. But what if you wanted muscle car power and full-size comfort? Chrysler and Hurst Performance answered that with the 300 Hurst. It combined Chrysler's luxurious 300 Series coupe with some unique muscle car touches and a healthy dose of marketing swagger from Hurst, the same people who made shifters for some of the baddest cars in Detroit. Category details: manufacturer, Chrysler. Year 1970. Model 300. Hurst platform. Chrysler C-body. Style 2-door hardtop coupe. Total production approximately 485 units estimates, range 485 to 501. Original price approximately $5,200. Well optioned. Colors: available Spinnaker white, used to gold accents. Only the 300 Hurst was not technically built at Chrysler's normal production line. Instead, they were shipped to Hurst Performance for their final unique touches, making each car a quasi-coach-built Mopar. The TNT 440, the 300 Hurst, wasn't just for show, it packed a real punch under its extra-long hood. Specification: details engine. 440 cubic inches, 7.2 liters. TNT V8. Carburation. Carter 4-barrel compression. Ratio 10.1 to 1. Advertised horsepower. 375 horsepower at 4,600 revolutions per minute. Advertised torque 480 pound-feet at 3,200 revolutions per minute. Actual output estimated 375 to 390 horsepower, 440 Magnum. This was the same high-performance 440 TNT engine used in the Chrysler 300 letter cars and the GTX Coronet RT, so the big 300 could move despite its massive size. Big body, big guts. Despite weighing nearly 4,400 pounds, the 300 Hurst could surprise many mid-size muscle cars in a straight line. Performance metric. Figure 0 to 60 miles per hour, approximately 7.1 seconds, 1/4 mile. Low 15 seconds at approximately 95 to 98 miles per hour. Top speed, approximately 130 miles per hour with the right gearing, and thanks to the Chrysler Torque Flight 727 3-speed automatic. Arguably the strongest factory auto of its time, the big Mopar took hard launches in stride. Transmission, 727 Torque-Flight automatic. Console mounted with a Hurst dual-gate his and hers shifter. Rear axle ratios, usually 3.23 to 1. Sure grip or optional 3.55 to 1 for more punch. Suspension, Chrysler's heavy-duty torsion bars up front, leaf springs in back. Plenty cushy, but surprisingly composed. Brakes. Front disc brakes were standard, with large 11-inch drums in the rear, strong enough to haul this land yacht to a stop. The boldest Chrysler? Ever? One look at a 300 Hurst, and you know it's special. Exterior highlights. Every car was Spinnaker white with a unique satin gold center stripe running along the hood, bulge, trunk lid, and sides. Fiberglass hood with a big faux scoop and molded spoiler on the trunk lid. Both made by Hurst. Special 300H by Hurst badges and callouts. Hidden headlights in the big chrome grille. A Chrysler 300 signature. Unique gold accent pinstriping. Magnum 500 road wheels wrapped in Goodyear polyglass tires. The final look is part muscle car, part luxury yacht, and totally 1970. All the options. Inside, the 300 Hurst didn't cut corners. You got Chrysler's best comfort features with your brute power. Features included power leather bucket seats, full-length center console, wood grain dash and door trim, rally gauges with 150 mph speedo and tack, Hurst dual-gate shifter in the console, straight from their muscle car lineup, tilt steering, power windows, power steering, and power brakes standard. Optional 8-track stereo and factory air conditioning. The vibe was clear. You could destroy the quarter mile and still take your boss to lunch in air-conditioned comfort. Hurst's marketing magic. Hurst Performance was the name in shifters, drag racing gear, and street performance parts in the 60s. They teamed up with Chrysler to create a car that would promote the Hurst brand beyond shifters. Give Chrysler a halo muscle car without competing directly with the Charger or Roadrunner. Do it in true Mopar style. Big, brash, and unlike anything else. Hurst handled the unique fiberglass panels, paint accents, and final trim. So every 300 Hurst was technically a low-volume specialty car, not just a trim package. Roughly 485 to 501 units were built. Some say a few more were made as prototypes and press cars. Many were driven hard, rusted out, or crashed. So fewer than 300 are estimated to survive today. This makes the 300 Hurst rarer than 1970 Hemi Roadrunner 1970, Charger RT 446, Pack 1970 Plymouth Superbird. But unlike those cars, the Hurst 300 never got drag strip glory or NASCAR wins, so it flew under the radar for decades. Plymouth Roadrunner 446 barrel, 1969 to 1970. The original blue-collar bad boy. Back to basics. When the Roadrunner debuted in 1968, it was Plymouth's answer to the bloated, increasingly expensive muscle cars of the late 60s. The idea was simple. Take the lightweight Belvedere body, strip out frills, add the biggest big block you could buy. Give it attitude, thanks to that beep-beep horn licensed from Warner Brothers. By 1969, Plymouth decided it was time to up the ante. Enter the 446 barrel, or 440 plus 6, as Mopar fans know it. It offered almost Hemi performance without the Hemi's sky-high cost or insurance penalties. Category details. Manufacturer: Plymouth, Chrysler. Years available: 1969 to 1970. Based on Plymouth, Belvedere, bought Roadrunner. Body styles: two-door coupe, hardtop, convertible total. 1969. Roadrunner production approximately 84,420 units. Total 6-barrel production approximately 1,432, 1969, plus approximately 1920, 1970 estimate. Factory price $440 plus 6, approximately $3,200 to $3,600. The 6-barrel sat above the 383 Roadrunner, but just below the mighty 426 Hemi, offering massive power for less money and fewer headaches. Engine: the mighty 440 plus 6. The star was the 446 barrel, a 440 Magnum big block topped by an ingenious induction system, 3 Holley 2-barrel carburetors, hence 6-barrel in Plymouth speak. Dodge called it 6-pack. Specification details: engine 440 cubic inches, 7.2 liters, RB V8. Induction, triple 2-barrel. Holley carburetors. Progressive linkage. Compression ratio 10.5 to 1. Advertised horsepower: 390 horsepower at 4,700 RPM. Advertised torque: 490 pound-feet at 3,200 RPM. True output: estimated approximately 410 to 425 horsepower. Road and track tests often found the 6-barrel made nearly the same power as the Hemi, but with way more low-end torque and much simpler tuning. Performance numbers: the 440 plus 6 was legendary for its street dominance. The center carb operated under normal driving. The 2 outer carbs opened under heavy throttle, dumping fuel and air. Drivers described it as a second set of afterburners. Performance metric: figure 0 to 60 miles per hour, approximately 5.4 to 5.8 seconds, 1/4 mile, 13.3 to 13.8 seconds, at approximately 104 to 107 miles per hour. Top speed, approximately 130 to 135 miles per hour. Curb weight, approximately 3,700 pounds. Compared to the expensive 426 Hemi, the 440 plus 6 was more forgiving on the street, easier to tune, and cheaper to maintain, all while delivering 98% of the thrill. Transmission options: 4-speed A833 manual with the iconic Hurst shifter 727, torque flight 3-speed automatic axle ratios. Standard 3.5 sure grip. Popular options: 3.91 or 4.1. Dana 60 with track pack or super track pack. Suspension upgrades: heavy-duty shocks and springs. Front sway bar. Optional air grabber hood 1970 with pop-up cold air scoop. All this made the 6-barrel a real threat at the stoplight, drag strip, or Saturday night street race. Bare knuckles, big attitude. The 446 barrel didn't just rely on what was under the hood, it looked tough too. Subtle black hood stripes. Optional, a 12 lift-off fiberglass hood with a giant functional scoop 446-barrel decals on the scoop, 15-inch black steel wheels with chrome lug nuts, and G70-15. Redline or polyglass tires, dog dish hubcaps, many cars came with them for weight savings. More aggressive grille with twin openings, air grabber. Hood with vacuum-operated trap door, cartoon Roadrunner graphics inside. Optional bright colors, vitamin C orange, lemon twist yellow, limelight green, in-violet purple body side stripes with Roadrunner cartoon logos. No frills, just menace. Pure muscle, minimal nonsense. Inside, the Roadrunner was about keeping the price down and the weight light. Typical interior features: vinyl bench seats, standard buckets, optional floor or column shifter, Hurst pistol grip for 4 speeds, basic gauge cluster with 150 mph speedo, talk optional, radio delete option for weight savings. Many drag racers did this. Carpeting and simple door panels. All about business. You could order a few luxuries, but most buyers didn't bother. They wanted speed, not plush. Drag strip royalty. In 1969, the rarest and coolest 6-barrels were the A12 cars, an option package that turned the Roadrunner into a virtual factory drag racer. Lift-off lightweight fiberglass, hood, black steel wheels, WW, Redline tires, Edelbrock aluminum. Intake manifold, heavy-duty Dana, rear axle, standard H, camshaft, and extra cooling. Only about 1,432 A12 Roadrunners were built. They're now among the most sought-after Mopars on the planet. The 446-barrel wasn't just a street hero. Dominated NHRA Superstock in 1969–70. Won countless local drag races. Iconic beep beep horn became pop culture legend, revered by Mopar collectors and muscle car historians alike. Though tens of thousands of Roadrunners were sold, the 446-barrel cars are special. Less than 2,000 true factors. Chevrolet Nova SS 396, 1968–1970. The little Chevy that could and did. From grocery getter to street terror, Chevy's Nova started life in 1962 as the Chevy 2, GM's answer to the Ford Falcon, a small practical car to haul the family around on a budget. But by the mid-60s, the muscle car revolution was roaring, and GM knew they had a gold mine. Take the lightest compact in their lineup and drop in the biggest engine that could fit under the hood. So for 1968, when the Nova got its sleek new body style, Chevy engineers did exactly that. The result? A factory, big block street machine that weighed about 3,200 pounds and could outrun Chevelle, Camaros, and even some Mopars. All while looking like a harmless economy car. Category details: manufacturer Chevrolet, date GM, years available. 1968 through 1970. Model Nova SS 396 body style 2-door. Coupe total Nova production. 1968 through 70. Approximately 820,000 plus estimated SS 396 production. Approximately 5,500 in 1968. Approximately 5,200 in 1969. 1969. Fewer in 1970. Original base. Price $2,700 to $3,200. It was cheap, light, and fast. The Nova SS 396 became the car that local street racers feared, but the local insurance agents hated. The big block heart. The magic was the 396 cubic inch 6.5-liter L78 V8, an engine originally made famous in the Chevelle SS and Camaro SS. Specification, details. Engine code L78, option code displacement. 396 cubic inches, 6.5 liters. Carburation. Holley, 780 cubic feet per minute. 4-barrel compression. Ratio 11.0 to 1 advertised horsepower, 375 horsepower at 5,600 RPM. Advertised torque, 415 pound-feet at 3,600 RPM. Actual output estimated 400-plus horsepower on a good day. Fun fact: the 375 horsepower L78 was the most powerful factory engine ever offered in the Nova, and was underrated for insurance reasons. Supercar power in a compact package. The Nova SS 396's secret weapon was its weight, about 600 pounds lighter than a Chevelle with the same motor. Performance metric figure: 0 to 60 miles per hour, approximately 5.4 to 5.8 seconds. Quarter mile, 13.3 to 13.8 seconds at 102 to 105 miles per hour. Top speed, till to 125 to 130 miles per hour. Curb weight, till to 3,200 to 3,300 pounds, checkmark. The big block torque in such a tiny package made this car a local drag strip and street racing legend. Period road tests proved the Nova SS 396 could keep up with, or beat, bigger SS Chevelle and even some 440 Mopars. Transmissions: Muncie M21 or M22, Rock Crusher, 4-speed manual, Turbo Hydromatic 400 3-speed automatic, 3.31 to 1, 3.55 to 1, 3.73 to 1, or 4.1 to 1.1. Positraction. Heavy-duty upgrades: 12-bolt rear axle, F41 suspension, stiffer springs, heavy sway bar. Optional power front, disc brakes, big block radiator, heavy-duty cooling and battery. A masterclass in sleeper. One of the best parts about the SS 396 Nova was how understated it was. No wild stripes, no hood scoops, unless dealer added. Subtle SS badges on the grille and rear panel. Small 396 callouts on the front fenders. 14-inch rally wheels or poverty caps for an ultra-stealthy look. You could even option it without a vinyl top for maximum sleeper vibes. Just a plain, compact Chevy.